This conference will now be recorded.
Hello guys, so it's 9:15 and I think I should start now. Okay, so in last class or last session, I created one Maven project, right? So we know that first we created a normal plain Java project, okay, where we were adding the dependencies manually in the class path, right? We were downloading the dependencies and then we were adding to our Java project. So that was again problem because if you try to share, okay, so if you see, if you remember, when we are pushing that particular project to Git repo, it was taking time because we have hard-coded jar there, right? So that is not a good practice. And in real time also, you don't generally attach a physical jar, right, in a project. So generally we use a Maven project or a Gradle project, which downloads the dependency for you, and I will show you how. Okay, so if you see that in the last class, I created this Maven project, okay, where I added two dependencies called Selenium and WebDriver Manager. Okay, so I'll show you both. So what happens actually when you add any dependency in Maven pom.xml? Okay, so it every what does it goes and downloads a dependency for you. Okay, but before downloading, it has something checks. It has some checks. So in every system, for Mac, it will different path. Or but if I go to my users, okay, if I go to users, okay, here, okay. So I will see .m2 directory. For Windows, it will be under users, and for Mac and Linux, I'm not sure where it will be, but you'll also have .m2 directory there. Okay, this m2 directory is the default directory of Maven repositories. Okay, so let me show you how it stores the dependency for you. So what actually happens, like in this particular project, I have two dependencies added here. Correct? Okay, one second. I've added two dependencies here, right? So what actually does, first it will go, first it will check this path. Okay, this is org.seleniumhq.selenium. Okay, let's see how it is categorized here. So in the repository, it will go to org folder. Okay, it's org folder here. Then again, what is the next one? It's Selenium HQ. I will go for Selenium HQ. Can you see? org dot, that's the package name, right? org dot selenium hq. Okay, let me go inside this. Okay, what is the next? Selenium, correct? So this is actually path in the m2 directory also. It will get the same folder structure. This is called sub package. Normal Java concept, package inside a package, sub package, right? So org selenium hq, then selenium. So I'm here inside selenium, right? Can you see here there are so many dependencies are here, right? And some has like 16.8 downloaded, right? Some were downloaded in 18th 28th Feb, right? So here they have everything, right? So what actually happens here, if I go to Selenium API, okay, with the core API, right? If I go to Selenium API, I will see the all the versions here, 3.12, 3.13. If you see here that I have asked for 4 alpha Selenium 4 alpha 6, right? But we can see so many versions here. So actually what happens, whenever you are creating a Maven project and whatever dependency you are adding, okay, those all those dependencies will be downloaded into common folder. And if I create again new Maven project where I try to use the same dependency, it will not download it again. It will go to m2 directory. Please be on mute. It will go to m2 directory. It will check whether whatever user has requested that version I have or not. If yes, it will not re-download. Okay, so let me show you what I'll do. This is, you can see this got downloaded on 16th of this month, right? What I'll do, I will delete it. Okay, there's no this one, right? Now what I'll do, I'll simply go. Okay, simply I will go here. Generally, as soon as you type it, right? So like suppose I will do something 5. Okay, or again I change to 6. Okay, okay. One folder got created here. Can you see this one? Because when what I have done, I have deleted this folder 6 here, version 6 here. Okay, then when I just simply edit it and save it again I see one new folder got created, alpha 6, right? So how it works, suppose you have multiple main projects, and every Selenium projects are using different versions, right? So it will not overlap. Every version it will have here, okay, within m2 directory, and it will reference. If you see here Maven dependencies, this will be referenced. So I am alpha 6, right? Because I'm using alpha 6 here. So this is how Maven works. Okay, this is .m2 folder where all the dependencies are stored. Okay, so whatever version you are using, it will, if it doesn't find there in the m2 folder, then it will download. If not, if it is already present, then it will link with your project. Got it? So this is how Maven works primarily here, how they manage the dependency. Because many people use the Maven, but they are not sure like how they are using the how they are managing dependency here. So this is the way. So let me explain it again in, I think, some more better way. So what I've done here in the pom.xml, every main project has one pom.xml generally, which is called heart of Maven, where you need to put everything. Okay, so it will say that how it needs to be built. Okay, so for to build this particular main project, I have two dependencies, right? Selenium-java with the version alpha 6, and we have something called WebDriver Manager. Okay, so what actually it does first, it will go and see in the .m2 directory whether you have the asked version or not, like 6. Okay, if it has 6, that will link to your main project, okay, under Maven dependencies. If not, that will download for you, and it will link with your main project. Okay, so this is how this what do you call that, Maven dependency are handled. I hope that I am able to explain this one, right? Okay, okay, fine, fine. Okay, so that is the first advantage of using Maven. Okay, you can, if you explain this much in detail, like how they are managing dependency or what is the advantage. If you suppose if someone asks that I want to have two projects and both projects should have different Selenium dependency on the same machine, will it create any problem? No, both will have difference only. Okay, we can see that all the dependencies are here. I've used the 3.12, that's right here. If I add a new dependency of 3.10, then I will it will create a new folder here. Okay, so there will be no conflict or there will be no overlapping of any version if you're using two different framework, different main projects, right? Same thing here. IO GitHub Boni Gracia, right? So let me go to the repository folder and go to IO folder here, right? IO folder. Then what is next? GitHub, GitHub. Then here, right? Can you see which version I have? 4.1.0. Okay, I can see the one folder here. Other two folders I have downloaded on 3rd March, and this one 21st March, right? Until unless you delete the .m2, it will not going to delete your this dependency, it will be always there. That's why sometimes you stuck while creating main projects, right? Because it is taking some memory here on your physical system. So always you can delete it and you can rebuild it always, right? Okay, fine. So I hope that I'm able to explain these things. Okay, perfect, fine. So what the new?
I have a small question here.
Yes, please.
When we run Maven clean build, so
Mm-hmm.
does it delete all these extra dependencies and recreate
No,
the folder?
no. Clean means it will simply delete the target folder.
Okay,
Okay.
got it.
It will not delete this M2 repository because your this M2 is only referenced with multiple main projects, right? Because if clean deletes this particular M2, then it will impact all other projects. So it will not hamper that thing. It will only delete the target folder.
All right,
Okay.
got it, got it. Yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
perfect. So let me show you one quick example using the WebDriver Manager how it works. Okay. So let me create inside it test folder. Okay, I will create a class. I will give the package like Selenium commands. Okay. Generally, I named it crash course, but I think better to cover so many things so that people will learn. And the simple launching browsers. Okay. Okay. Fine. So I'm just showing that how WebDriver Manager is working. Okay. Okay. So what we have seen in the previous two sessions that we have downloaded the exe files and we have kept within our project, right? And this exe files, if I talk with respect to Windows, but if you are using Mac or Linux, so they will not get any exe extension file. You get the executable file, but extension will there will no extension. Okay, so to talk with browser, you need to download one exe file on Windows. Then only you can launch any browser. Perfect. Yeah. But we also know that for each browser version, maybe executable file may change, right? So you cannot distract someone that always use a particular browser version only, right? If someone is using a latest version or someone is the older version, then your script will fail. Okay, then what is better way? Let's assign this particular task to someone so that it will automatically find whatever is suitable executable file for them. So that task is done by WebDriver Manager. Let me show you that how it works. Suppose I want to launch a Chrome. So generally I will write system dot set property, right? WebDriver dot Chrome Chrome dot what is the keys? I think this is only whatever counter driver. Then I have to give some path, right? Some path I need to give here. Correct. So generally set the path, and when the Selenium is running your code, it knows that okay where the server, and it will start that one. Then your code and real browser will communicate, right? So this can be replaced because this is system dependent line, right? It will be changing for every machine. So there's one WebDriver manager. What you need to just you need to use this WebDriver Manager class. Okay, this again one abstract class. Okay, abstract. How can you see? You can see the symbol A here. Okay, this means it is abstract class. Okay, WebDriver Manager. Okay, there's one static method that just simply into Chrome driver. Okay, if you want to use Firefox, then you can use Firefox driver or Edge driver or whatever you have. Suppose I want to launch the Chrome driver. That okay, select it. Okay, then setup. Okay, one line statement, no need to worry. What it will does, it will go check the current version of your Chrome browser, whatever you are calling the setup method. Okay, and then it will check whether you have the proper executable file or not. Where it will check, I will show you that where it will check. Let me simply save it and let me launch on browser also. Chrome driver equal to okay. So let me launch one URL. So which URL I should launch? So https www.google.com, which is the most famous one. Okay, and let me driver dot close. Okay, so this is the problem here. Driver dot close. Okay, let me run this program. Okay, I am not doing any executable path. I simply call the WebDriver Manager. Okay, and I am setting up Chrome driver. Okay, so it is launching perfectly fine, and launching Google closed, right? So when so your question may become, right, where is my exe files, right? And if it manages everything internally, then where it is keeping the files? Okay, so it keeps the file here. No, not here. I just missed that part. In one folder it keeps there, and from there it set the system path. Okay, then IU, right? Okay, let me just see this one. Because it's also download the dependency for you, and it will download only if it is not present. Okay, not every time. Okay, so let me see that where it stores. Okay, here. Can you see that? It downloads the driver if it is not present on WebDriver Manager cache, right? Okay, so I think it is hidden folder, that's why it is not showing up here.
The cache path is in the root directory. Let's go back to configuration.
Not cache, yes.
So basically, they are saying that it appears when it is not available, but it is, I believe, what the
Yes, it is.
executable is looking for is available. That's why it's not visible in the cache
Yes,
folder.
yes. Just I want to show you that particular exe download is there present. That's why it's not downloaded. It was okay. Maybe I'm just confused with the path here. It in the root directory that cache. Something we're missing, but okay. So somewhere
Can
it's in this
can we
particular
do
way
one thing?
download. You can go. Mhm.
Can we delete this WebDriver Manager folder and again saving the form XML?
That can be done, but it was showing you. But maybe I'm only confusing somewhere. Like GitHub. Let me delete this one and let me run this program again. Okay. So what I need to do first? Manage. Okay. Okay. Now if I run it, because I deleted the file, so it was not able to find that dependency. That's why it is failing, right? Okay. So I should go to I think inside M2 inside repository. I think WebDriver. Yes. Okay. Here. Okay. We can see the 84, right? Can you see that it was downloaded on 13th of 8, right? 13th August. Today is 22nd. Okay. And this version you can see it is 84 some version, right? And if I see my Chrome, or if I see my Chrome, okay, so I was taking some API session earlier, so it was from that tab. If I see the about Google Chrome, so we can see this 84, right? So, but Dev Manager will check whether it has been downloaded already or not. If it downloaded, then it will not download it again. So it actually stores within the WebDriver folder. Okay, not within the WebDriver Manager. Okay, so that I was getting confused, but yeah, this is inside WebDriver, and you have WebDriver and Gecko. So okay, so let me do one thing for you. Just show you an example. So whatever folders we have, only Chrome and Gecko. Okay, let me launch one Edge driver for you. Okay, so let me launching. Okay, so here what I'll do, I will add. Let me import it. Sometimes programs can simply update Maven. Okay, gone, right? So let me do the launch Edge browser. Okay, so most of you knowing that maybe in Selenium 4, Microsoft has decided that they will not providing support for IE and legacy Microsoft Edge, right? And it's not like that. Edge is only exclusively for Microsoft. You can use on Mac and Android, iOS also now, right? So it's like a normal browser, and Microsoft Edge is also developed using Chromium. Okay, Chromium is a product provided by Google which is used to develop or which is compiled to develop Chrome browser. Okay, that's why. Okay, so let me show you some similarity between both. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm simply launching one Edge browser and Edge driver here. Okay, then again same thing here. Okay, okay, make sure that you have the Edge browser launch, Edge browser downloaded. So you can download Edge browser like normally you download any Chrome, right? So you can download the Edge browser from here. Okay, so you can see that you see this for Windows 8.1, 8.7, Mac, Android, iOS, right? So it's like normal any browser, right? So let me launch for you. Just see the output and two things. So it is launching. Okay, so okay, so have you seen this message somewhere? This much similar message. Just if you don't see the driver here, where do you get this message? This message you get when you launch the Chrome, right?
Right.
Yes, you get this message when you launch the Chrome. And let me just simply uncomment this closed one. So I'll show you what are the other dependencies, other similarities actually. So let me run it again. Okay, let me run this particular program. Let me what is the similarity here? Can you see this one? This message, Microsoft Edge is being controlled by automated test software. Same thing for Chrome, right?
Right.
So actually, from Selenium 4, if I go to this Edge driver class, okay, what I see that it is extending Chromium driver, okay. And if I go to Chrome, okay, this is also extending Chromium driver, okay. So because Chromium is the base to develop both what do you call that Edge and Chrome browser. That's why you see the similarities there. Even the for the version also you can see 84, right? So these are the major changes in Selenium 4. And if you run the scripts on Edge browser, you'll find it's still like similar to Chrome, only it runs faster there also. Okay. Okay. So what I was showing that, let me see. Can you see the Edge driver got downloaded here? Win64, right? So this is done by WebDriver Manager for you. Okay, it will always in your system. Okay, so this proves that if whatever version you have, okay, it will go and check, and if it's not there, then it will download. If it is there, you will not download again. Okay, so it managing your dependency, managing the your executable dependency well, right? So that is the usage of WebDriver Manager, and I hope that I am able to explain that how actually it works internally. Okay, even you have some configuration also, like if you want to download some specific version, then also you can use. We have you can set up it here, like WebDriver Manager. you can give the browser version. Okay, sometimes it happens like now it very stable, but I think in beginning from like 2 years back, it was sometimes it was not able to download the dependency properly, right? So sometimes you need to give the browser version as well. Okay, but now it is very perfect and very stable also. It works mostly of the time all the times. Okay, so this was the agenda. Okay, one thing sometimes I just ask this why we are writing this type of syntax. What is the meaning of this type of syntax? Okay, so let me explain that why what this is called generally called method chaining. Okay, how method chaining is working or what is method chaining? Let me explain you that
Mhm.
also, because we write the syntax like driver dot manage dot window dot maximize. If I ask that how did you write that one? Okay, this is not this is just not to mark up, but this you should understand how did we write and when we are able to write it. Okay, so let me explain you that part. Okay, so
Amod,
let
one
me
doubt.
start. Yes, you ask
Uh,
me.
yeah, Amod, actually, like WebDriver Manager is helping to download the Ads Manager and Chrome driver also. So, what is it applicable for Safari also? Because we are need to install and develop a certificate for Safari driver if we are running our test. So, will it help Safari driver too also?
Honestly speaking, I have not worked on Safari as of now, so but I'm not sure on that one. But
I could
I
answer
heard
this
that.
question.
Yeah, please.
Actually, I am in the same situation the person is asking. I tried executing it for Safari, but it is not providing any support for Safari. For Safari, you have to explicitly mention Safari driver, new Safari driver. Okay, we need to register for that some developer certificate, I think for that. So that's why I'm
No.
raising that. WebDriver Manager class doesn't have any declaration for Safari, I guess. So you
I
need
can
to
see
do
in
it
the method also.
a
I
traditional way.
Okay, so generally Chrome and Firefox are mostly used, but I think
Okay.
Edge will be pushed also because when they stop IE and legacy Edge, so 100% the new Edge will be popular. It is really faster as earlier we used to make jokes, right? That working like accessing ICTC website on IE is the terrific thing, right? But now that joke is gone. Okay,
Yeah.
and
Actually,
so what? Mhm.
Internet Explorer for Windows and Safari for Mac browser are same. So Safari is the traditional browser which comes with the Mac. So
Yeah.
it's generally we don't prefer working with the Safari. Chromium, Edge, and Chrome are the recent browsers and they are fast as well.
Yeah, Chrome is always faster and it is really good also. I remember that one time, what do you call it? Firefox was like leading, but now it's Chrome again. Okay. Okay. So what I was explaining that method chaining, right? So let me cover some. I will create a folder here. Okay. What I'll do, I will create a let me create one package, Java concepts. Okay, and I will create a class demo. Let's say here Apple. Okay, so let me create one method here, public void mm, it Apple. Okay, chess out eating Apple, right? Or let me okay, one method enough, and same package. Let me create a class called give me some name like Ramesh. Okay, And let me create one method public void buying buy apple. Something I'm getting this first to show buy apple, right? Okay, and suppose I have one sentence class where I will make a sentence. Okay, I will have a main method here. Okay, so suppose I want to access one method called Ramesh. So I'll create one object of it, right? Yes. Okay, I can access that method by apple, right? Same thing for apple A. You go to new apple. Okay, and I can access one method called eat apple, right? If I'm now running Java application, so it will give me some by apple you're eating apple, correct? But let's suppose uh, if this class Ramesh instead of returning void returning uh, a reference of apple class. Okay, okay, and suppose return new apple. Okay, okay, so let me form a sentence again here. If I do r dot, okay, so there are two things. So let me comment out these lines, and what I will do, I will create a new object of this one, new object of this one. Then r dot, what to do? I buy apple, and I know this is returning one object of a reference of apple class. Okay, and then we can call a dot it apple, right? So I have done this one, and if I run it, I will get the same output, correct? Okay, so in this three line, I can write it in one line only. How? So if you see here, uh, see this A, can you replace with this part? Means this A is representing this much, right? So can you write like this one? R dot buy apple dot get apple, right? It's something called, since by apple returning me a reference of a class which allows me to access the method of that class, right? This is called method chaining. Okay, this is called method chaining. If a method is returning a reference of another class, okay, so you can directly chain it using the dot operator, okay, to call the method of that class. Okay, so here when you write this one, okay, like suppose where I written, you have written here where driver dot manage dot window dot maximize. You can break it like this one: driver dot manage is returning an object of option, right? So option is what? Option, the options.
Options is the interface, right? So
Mhm. Everything that is inner interface in that one. Have dot manage dot. This is returning one options, right? So what I can do in options also. Okay, it is interface in this one
yeah.
Selenium, and we can store it like right? Or better give name. Okay, options. Okay, when I use the options reference, okay, what you call diverter manage dot window. If I call window again, because I can access it, so it's returning me window reference. Okay, windows again interface. Okay, so I can simply write it here. Okay, and okay, now I can call the method of window interface, right? Window dot maximize, right? Okay, so it returns being wide. So actually, this particular line to maximize a window is the combination of these three one. Okay, how can we sort it? In because we know this options is this much, right? So what you can do, you can directly replace it here, and you can remove all other part, right? You can remove this one, right? This window represents this much, right? Let's copy it and paste it here. Okay, so you get the actual syntax. Div.manage.window.maximize. Okay, when this is useful, when you're not going to access another method of those interfaces. Okay, then you can go for method chaining. Okay, but suppose you want to use that reference for future use. Okay, then you should not go for method chaining, because it will it will unwantedly create the multiple objects. Correct. That's why if there's no further use of that particular reference, then you can go for method chaining, right? Same thing for driver dot manage. Okay, again you can see this, it is returning one reference of options interface. Okay, manage dot window, no, what I call it, timeout, right? Can you see it is again returning one reference of timeouts. Okay, then you can set implicit wait, right? And it is okay. So you return like this, because when you are calling timeouts, it is returning the timeout reference, right? And when you are calling the implicit wait, which is present inside the timeouts interface, that is again sorry, timeouts, I think this is returning. Okay, so let me show you the declaration also. See with this your timeout. So this is again interface, right? So wherever, right? So when I go to implicit way, right? So this particular method is on returning the same reference. That means called this. If you see the implementation of this, will be I will be able to see it. Okay, can we see it is returning as this only, right? This means the method of a class, if it's returning the same reference, that means you can call another method of the same class. Okay, I hope this I'm able to explain, because this returning this means, or let me give you one example only, simple example. I get a class demo. Okay, there's one method called wide, not wide. What I'll do, public demo method one. Okay, sys out method one, and you what you can do, you can do this one, return new demo also. Okay, or you can use the this keyword. Whoever is calling, it will return that only. Okay, and then public uh, maybe let's no, don't return anything, method 2, right? And what I'll do here, again sys out method 2, and I will not returning anything, right? So when I'm using main method here, okay, so demo d equal to new demo, right? Simple, I create one object, okay, and d dot, when I call the method one, okay, it is returning me this demo only, right? Method one. If I do the dot, okay, then should able to access should able to access method two, right? Same class object. Same thing here. When I was calling the implicit wait method, okay, it was returning me same reference. Okay, not here. Implicit wait. Okay. Can you see the timeout? It is returning timeouts only. So if I give the time suppose 30 second, 20 second, or time unit, okay, dot seconds, right? This is also returning the self reference only. Okay. If I do the dot again, I will get the implicit wait again, right? So this is the, because they are returning the same reference. These are not Selenium concept, but it is generally like more Java concepts. Okay, like method self reference, this type of things. Okay, that's why I'm explaining it. Okay, perfect. So maybe you may not be aware that from Selenium 4 point, I think alpha version 4 or 5, you can minimize the window as well. Okay, minimize the window as well. Okay, so let me do one thing. What I will do, I will simply comment this one and I will put it here after launching the browser, and I'll put some sleep. Okay, so let's see how it works actually. Can you see it is got maximized, minimized, and program is running. It is open only, and after 5 seconds it got closed, right? So this is the means it minimize your browser. So someone will ask that what is the advantage of this particular method, right? Suppose you are running a very lengthy scenario, right? Suppose 20 or 25 steps are there, okay, and when you something you are fixing and you need to see in the last, right, in the last one, and suppose you don't have any dockerized system, or you have only one system where you are writing, where you are coding and your browser is opening on that same system. Okay, because many people will say will have multiple desktop, or they have some dockerized environment where they can launch launch the window, right? So that is different thing. But suppose if you launch on the same window and you after 20th step you need to see. So if you simply minimize the browser, it will fail and it will keep popping up also. It will not fail, but it will keep popping up also in between. So it will not allow you to do any work parallelly or in the same time. You need to always watch on that one. But if you use the minimize method here, it will not pop up also and it will not fail. That I observe with the minimize method, and that is the major advantage. And one thing, generally it will take the screenshot also well. If your browser is minimized, then also it will take the screenshot properly. Okay, so there's also no problem in taking the screenshots also when you are minimizing the browser. Okay, so
Okay.
this is the major
So,
advantage I think with the minimize method.
okay. So you mean when we will be dealing with that window handles the multiple window, the scenario will not
Mhm.
fail. Is this what you
Mm,
mean?
means browser is minimized and you are trying to switch the window and switch to new window or any
Right,
window.
right. Or any
So
window, right?
actually, I have not tried this one, but scenario is not failing because I have tried some different scenarios also, because this is new method.
Mm-hmm.
So, but in whenever whatever things scenario I've tried, like taking the screenshot or running any lengthy scenario where uh, alert handling I've tested. It's perfectly handling the alert, so there's no problem. And even it is not popping up also in between. Generally, if
All
you
right.
have experience with the older one, it will keep blinking also, and sometimes it pops up automatically, or sometimes it will
Right.
fail. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
those type of problems I have not experienced with the minimize, but you can try with the window handle. So maybe I also give it a try and see that. Hopefully, it should work there also.
All
Okay,
right. All right.
but yeah,
Thank
you
you.
can
Yeah.
try and update me as well. Okay, so perfect. So I think I'm able to explain this one, how the method chaining is working, why we write driver.manage.window.maximize, or implicit bit we'll see after some time. But yeah, this is the also syntax. This is called method chaining. Okay, fine. So what is I have in my bucket? 1 second. Okay, okay. So let me start with some basics of locators, right? Because that is the main main basics when you automate any UI based application. So let me start with the Google only. Everyone uses with that, so let me start with that as well. Okay, so we see this UI, right? So Selenium, whatever automation tool you are using, right? At least if you're not using some image based automation tool where they will identify the element based on image, like sequely, right? Sequely. So there they will like click, they will perform any action on element based on the image whatever you have given. Okay, but the tools like Selenium Protector or some Cypress, even Cypress and all, so they, you need to give the path, or you need to uh, let them know how you can identify or locate any element. Like suppose I want to automate a scenario where it will type on this particular input box. Okay, so we cannot say that okay, okay, Selenium, go to Google page and uh, type this in search box. They will not identify like that one. We need to say that where to go. Okay, so if you inspect it, okay, so this is generally called DOM tree or DOM structure. Whatever you see here, okay, there's only some things, some elements, but you see so many things are here, right? They're domestic because they're calling so many JavaScript or Ajax calls happens when you load this browser, or there's so many internal calls as well, right? That's why I see so many things here. Okay, so each and every element can be uniquely identified in this DOM structure. Okay, so generally people ask that can we have uh, if same XPath for two elements? No, at least on the index with it will be different. Okay, you to reach a particular what do you call that, sub location, right? So you will have some path. Okay, if you're going to the same path, going by the same path, then it is identical, but location can be common, but you made it in two different places, two different ways, right? So here also, like if you see this one, so generally in HTML, uh, this is considered called input, right? It is this particular element will expect some input from user, right? But there is also an input thing, okay, or radio button or checkbox. Everything is waiting, takes some input from user, end user. Okay, so if you inspect it, I'll see one tag input generated for take some input, and what type of input it is defined using the type. Okay, if you see here, this is a button, right? If you see this, if you inspect this particular Google search, this is again input tag, but 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 it is type submit. Okay, and generally if you see the normal one like automation practice, because submit is also one type of button itself. If I see here, so maybe I need to go to sign in, and if I click inspect the sign in button, right? And again, this is button tag, right? This is also taking one input, taking input from user. So here also we can have multiple we can have the same tag, but what type of input is input type it is, that depends upon this type. Okay. Okay, so I was talking about this one, right? First, search box. So this is one complete what do you call that, one particular node is identifying this one or defining this particular search box. So we can see, if you see this is starting with input, and we see so many things like class, maximum length, name, type, something 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 we have, right? So these are actually called attributes of this particular element. So this element input have different attributes called class, maximum length, name, type, and all those things. Okay, so uh, maybe we can use these attributes to identifying this particular DOM node also. Okay, so generally in Selenium they have defined in how many ways we can locate an element. Okay, so generally there are 8 types of ways. Okay, so if I name it, so better to write it here, or maybe here. So what are things we have? ID. Okay, then we have name, then we have class name. Okay, then what we have? Link text. We have partial link text.
Tag name,
Tag name, the basic one, tag name. Then
XPath,
we have
CSS.
CSS and XPath, right? So total we have 8 kind of thing, right? So generally so generally ID, name, and class name. Okay, these are generally attribute. Okay, attributes here. If you see here, we see only the name here. The name of this particular node in DOM is Q. Okay, we can use this one directly, or we can use the class name, because there is one question also in interview: what is the difference between name and class name? Both are different attributes, both are not same. Okay, this particular DOM element have one attribute called class. This is actually class name for Selenium, and this is one attribute called name Q, which is another attribute. Okay, so both are not same, both are two different attributes, and you cannot use interchangeably also. Okay, fine. So so like this way we can also have ID. Okay, but here we don't have any ID, and we cannot use this one maximum length or JS action or area autocomplete. We cannot use it directly. Okay, but yes, you in Selenium you can create your own this one locator as well. Okay, it's not like that only you need to use always this 8. Okay, so I will explain that when you need to go and create your own locator. Okay, and if you see this link text and path, I will explain later. Tag name. So what is the starting tag? Okay, so with the basic HTML knowledge I think you should have. So it will have some starting and closing tag. So input is one static tag, right? This is called starting tag. Okay, you can see this div, they starting with the div and it is closing with this div. So whatever is opening, that you need to close it. Okay, and some are considered auto closed also. So that is again some basic HTML. Okay, so now see what is challenging here. You in maximum time you are not going to find ID. Okay, very rare, because generally people say that ID is super fast, but there are so many web development tools which are drag and drop. Okay, you need to create a drop down. Okay, drag and drop. They are not writing actually these many codes. It is being auto generated for them. Okay, so just think that how much it is difficult to get to use these locators like ID or name or class name, because what is class name? Class name gives you CSS actually. How class name means, okay, so like suppose there are 100 students in a school, right? But all the 100 students will be distributed to different classes, right? One some student will belong to class 5, or some student will belong to standard 2 or 3 or 4, right? So every student will go in different one, right? So here also, like this input, this particular you will see the one, there are two classes actually. They're not when you are using multiple class names within DOM node, you need to use the space. That's why you see the two spaces means one space means there are two classes. So I can see these two classes here. Can you see it is G L F Y F? Can you see it is here, right? It is giving you this one. It is defining this one. If you go and if you know something, you can change it also. So maybe I will go here color. Okay. So maybe if I change, let's see what happens. 255. Let's see what happens. Okay. So what is the color for this one? But using this CSS property, you can change this one also. If you are good in HTML, you can just change something. You can check it here. Okay. So this says that this particular input node belongs to two different classes. Okay. Two different classes. I think this different second class is here, right? Font 16 FX. I think that when we type, okay. See what I did, I just changed the color to something 255. So what I am typing, it is coming as green. By default, it comes in black, right? So this is defining this class things are defining that how your HTML element will behave or look like. Okay. So using the class names is also dangerous while automating, because suppose if developers add say like client comes and they said okay, I don't want this plain this one, I want some different color in background. They'll go and they will add a new class maybe, and they will edit. So creating this type classes, the advantage of creating this type classes, like you can use the same class for multiple elements. Okay, something called reusability. Okay, so suppose you have created one script where you have used the class name, and tomorrow they have changed the class name, or they have added extra class name there, so your script will fail, right? So generally it is says that if your element has id or name, use that one. Okay, avoid class names always. Okay, because it may not be proper for you, or maybe you can go for some partial contents, and also those I will cover while covering xpath. But yeah, so generally class name is not preferred. Okay, and tag name is also not preferred, because there will be so many tag with the div input same tag. So how we are going to get the exactly the whatever we want. Okay. Okay, and what else I have? So link text and pathways I will explain, and CSS expert anyway. This is I want to cover in one session, so that because what I feel that locators are the base or the very basic thing which you be perfect in that. Many tools are there, right? There are so many tools they are have to generate the locator for you directly. But if you don't understand your DOM, you cannot write your better code. Okay, like suppose think of a scenario. Okay, so have you any explained what is the limit of character you can type for the Google search? How many characters you can type in Google for search? Any idea?
No.
2048.
2048
Yes. How you get to know?
max length attribute.
Yes. See, if you are no, you simply go and type, and you'll see that how much is to type, how much it is accepting. But if you understand your DOM well, can you see the property here, maximum length 2048? There are so many web design applications where they will, like suppose password should not accept this type of characters or this type of things. You can simply go to the DOM, and you can see what regex they have defined something. Right, there's so many ways like you can think of. Like suppose if I want to say that I want mhm. or like suppose this one, right? This image, like suppose something you need to check that that font should be bold, or it should be italic, okay, or the font size should be this much. You can test this type of things also. Okay, how you can test? Using this, if you understand your DOM, you can go to your CSS property, you can see that how it is defined. Okay, like suppose whatever I'm typing here, okay, and this is defining the color, right? And again, if you see here, mhm, font size 16 fx, right? So if I want to check what is should be the font size, you change it to bigger, right? 34. So generally it's kind of application. I am changing it from my side. That is different thing. But when their Google has developed, they are saying that for the 15 inch 15-inch screen, the font size should be 16 px, right, or 34 px, whatever they are. Okay. So this type of testing also you can do only if you understand your DOM. There's so many things you can easily check it instead of suppose boundary value, right, or equivalent partitioning. Like suppose one text box accept value from 1 to 10. So what you will do as a tester, like you'll do partition, right? You'll give one some 0 or -1, then one number greater than 10 or exactly 10, then you will give one number between, or maybe you will do again one partition, right? But if, as an automation tester, you go and check the minimum and maximum, or not minimum maximum, that is a property, right? Mean or max only, I think. But you need to see that what is defining, and that depends upon what UI development tool you are using. It may be different for others also. So just you need to get that property and to get what is actually happening. This type of things, again, one more scenario, like suppose when you are creating any account, okay, performing some action. So if the action is successful, then you should get the message in green, okay. Or if the scenario is failing, or it is not expecting, or suppose you are not getting registered successfully, then you should see the error message in red. That is functionality, right? That is a because color is saying everything here, green and red. All this type of scenario can be automated using Selenium only if you understand the DOM. So as a beginner, okay, don't go for any tool. Write your own locators, understand the DOM, understand that why it is written, everything. Then you can see the autocorrect off. What is meaning autocorrect off? It's not correcting automatically, but if you do on, maybe if you're typing something wrong, it will autocorrect you. Okay, autofocus. Okay, so yeah, you need to understand this DOM. Okay, so am I clear? I think so. As a beginner, don't go for any tools. uh,
Yeah.
Inspect it, check it, how it works, what are the attributes, properties, everything, right?
About,
Perfect.
I have two questions regarding locators. In
Mm-hmm.
some time, interviews, they let me paste small HTML snippet. There
Mm-hmm.
is the chat box. Okay. Uh, I have sent in the chat box. Please check.
Okay, let me see. Yes. Okay, so you want me to create a one HTML file out of this?
Uh, did you see the HTML snippet which I have sent?
Yes, yes, yes.
All right. So basically, this is an empty snippet which does not
Mm-hmm.
have any, attributes. Sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
interviewer asks, what if there is no attribute available at all? How will you navigate uh, below and above to the elements?
Okay, so okay, so one thing comes here, like when there's no, see, if there's no relative path, there will be always absolute path.
Right.
Okay, if there's no relative path, there may not be relative path, but there will be always absolute path. Okay,
Mhm.
maybe relative path means you can slash div, so it will identify all this one. This is again relative path, but it is not specific to one particular div, whatever you want. Okay, so let me show you. Let me create one HTML for you.
Yeah.
Generally, this type of question just asked to just to know that how much you can think. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So let me. Okay. So from here only I can open.
Pramod, you also cover for that ancestor predecessor
Yes,
follower
I will cover.
sequence.
I will try to cover some. You can also unit whatever you want. I will because earlier I started with something called very crash course kind of thing, but I think people are getting benefited with this. So it is two-way process, right? I'm also getting revised. I will also learn more. And what else? I will need to open with, right? Open with. Let me open with Chrome. Okay. So there's nothing. If I inspect it, I will get so many div and all, right? Inside body, you have this div, correct? There's nothing, right? All
Yes.
are empty. So suppose if I do some relative div, right? So simply highlighting one of six, right? So you can use the indexing here. One thing, okay? The indexing. So again, indexing will create problem because if any new div is being added in between, then it may be problem, right? Again, same problem can come in absolute also that because but if add, there is more chances that it will break your any it can break for it can break both absolute and relative also. Okay, so but suppose if so one way was the one way was using index, and the another we can go by normal one like HTML. Then you can go call that body. Okay, then div and
Then again, they.
again div. So like this we can go. Okay,
All
but
right.
again if they so it will be like uh, why it is coming to because it is same sharing the both same path because this is the child of this guy's father. Okay, parent. Okay, this has one child, right? So the body have two children, div, right? And this outer div has one more children, inner div, right? And I think okay, this guy also have one like it's a nested one, div inside div. So
Right.
that's why when you are getting it here, so it identifying one here and one here. But if I do it here, like I say that go to first children, okay, so it is going like this one. So like this one, if there's no attribute, generally you will not find any kind of such kind of application. But yeah, if there's no attribute, then you can go for indexing based only, or you can go for absolute where you also need to use index. But these are risky if they add any new div in between.
Right. It
Okay.
will be for sure.
So,
But it's yeah, it's a kind of interview question only just to check your knowledge on locator. So we know that this kind of scenario will not have happened. It won't never
hmm.
ever happen again.
Then this
More
kind
the
of questions
indexing
just
will
say
start
that how
from
much.
zero, right?
Sorry. No,
Indexing will start from zero, correct?
that is for what you call that programming languages, right? So
No,
here
no, no, no.
everything starts from
The div one you have written, right? So the
hmm.
upper one will be the
Zero.
div zero, correct?
No, in the X path, there's no index start from one, not from zero.
Okay, okay, okay.
In array or string, you have starting index zero, right? In the programming language, you have the starting index zero, but in the X path, the starting index will be one. Okay, so generally here, what is the trick here? Okay, so if I what I said that go to HTML, go to body and go to div. Okay, so I'm not seeing that which div. So generally these two divs are children of body. Children of body. Body is the parent of these two children. So when I say that okay, go to a person and okay, suppose there is one guy Ramesh. Ramesh has 3 children. Okay, in a, if I say someone, okay, go to Ramesh and call his child. Okay, so when he will go to Ramesh, he doesn't know that which children to call it, right? So it will means it will find all three. That's why you see here when I see body slash div, it is not so like which one. So it is locating. It is giving me both the children, right? So if I want to specific one, suppose I want the second one, so I will give the two. Okay, so it's like node, like tree. It's going like that way only. Okay, that's why I use the index here. Both are the same. There's one tie whenever there is tie, right? So it will give you both. It will not give a unique until you decide which to select. Okay, these are the very basic small because sometimes you say that I am writing some X path, but it is giving me two elements or three elements. These are the things. Okay, so you need to be careful like how you are selecting it. Okay, so I will stop it here, but in the next class I will one class I will take only for XPath, and I will show you some method which no one using actually. Everyone using text and all. There are so many methods like string normalize space, then string length. There are so many other methods also which you can use XPath. So I will try to cover that thing well, and then CSS in one class, and link text and partial link class a small one. So one demo example I will take, and mainly people struggle with the web table. Okay, so I will try to that web table and maybe some image SVG graph, right? Those things I will try to cover because those are the important. Okay, fine. So if you have any doubt, you can ask now, or you can always
Uh,
mail me or come to the video.
in your recent post on Make Selenium Easy, you have mentioned something about Shadow DOM. I tried
Set it
reading it,
down.
but I didn't understand what is Shadow DOM.
Okay, so if you see the download page of this one, okay, can you see the shadow DOM? You cannot directly
Yes.
access any element inside this one.
Okay. When you say
Okay.
directly, what does that mean? You mean we cannot write XPath for that directly?
Selenium cannot directly jump to any element inside the shadow root. Okay,
Okay.
you need to first expand using JavaScript, then only you can go inside that one. So
Okay.
maybe if you remember that I can cover in some session. So because I also need to practice this one because generally you will not find this shadow DOM. But recently I read one article where they mentioned that this is growing because this type of web elements or feature is actually blocker for not blocker but it creates the problem for automation scripts.
Mhm.
Okay,
All right. Yeah.
but yeah, but I will try to cover in one session that one.
Okay. Yeah.
You can
Thank you.
you can give it a try like when you try to something like suppose you want to download a file whether you want to know whether it downloaded or not. So many people had tried this one but they cannot directly locate any element within the download section.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay. Anyway, that was I think that particular post was written by I forgot the name, and that guy has developed
Sanjay.
one crow path.
Sanjay
Yeah,
Kumar.
yeah, Sanjay Kumar. He has developed crow path and then again selector hub, I think. Yes. So I think when you are beginner, don't use. But once you get the experience and you know that you can write the locate XPath or CSS well, you can use any tool because anyway it will save your time. But being a beginner or when you are learning, don't use tools. It will not. It will harm your learning only. Okay, but yeah, that is good tool, and he has really put so much effort because when the what is name crow firebug, right? Firebug and firepath was discount was like it was like terminated, right? There were no future, it was not supported, so many people were struggling to write. those things. But I think CrowPath and the Selector Hub saved their lives, because many people still don't know to write the locators. But yeah, for with the interview perspective and to automate many scenarios, you need to understand this DOM structure well. Okay. So any other question?
Amod, again for your, I asked you the scenario given in the LinkedIn. Asked you in a LinkedIn message box. So in the end, that COVID tracker. So you are, I'm just asking, what is your means? What is the situation? I'm not able to understand that one. Can you please once explain that
Okay,
one so that I.
so what it was, but hardly I get 2 or 3 submission, because people think that if they know how to click and typing a text, the same is done. No, everywhere the scenario matters. If you don't know how to automate scenario, then what is the use of click or send gauge? That's why I gave the proper, what was that, NDTV, right? NDTV Corona
That is
tracker.
COVID tracker, Corona tracker. Yeah, yeah.
Anything I think you should give. Okay. So it is giving case, yes. So what I was expecting that, okay. So what I was expecting that you see this one, right? 657. This is like total cases, right? What I was expecting that you need to add this particular value of all the states, okay, and then
Correct.
verify
Okay.
whether this is correct or not. Okay, this is
Okay.
overall. Again, one thing comes here, 14161, right? This is up, right? So how many cases are found today? That should match with this one.
Okay.
Okay, and there's one
Okay.
trick part here in the active one. Can you see this one? This 726 less, right? So when you add this all things, you need to minus this part. Correct. Then only it will give you this proper one active.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, this
Okay.
was the tricky part here. That's why I have thought of this scenario, and I thought that okay, if I give this to people, if because this something you just don't need the same now. You need to think more. You need to think that how can you get the proper result or correct result. That's why I've created that assignment, and sadly I got only 2 responses.
No, I'm trying that one. So this color one, we can do it in JavaScript executor, I think. We can grab that one and we can compare, I think.
No, you can see simply you need to add this one and it should be equal to this, and you need to add this one, it should be equal to this one. In this case of
No, green
active, you need
colors
to
we need to.
minus. See here, if you see here in the inspect section, so it is inside that only, right? This is overall. First one, where it was 47,785, right? And another one, it is data down, that's 726. So if you see this one, it will have data up. Can you see data up? It is data down. So you got something,
Okay.
no need to go for
Okay.
color. You can decide
Okay.
based on the class name. It is data up means you're going, means case has been increased, right? But if a
Okay.
class is data down, then it means you need to minus it, right?
Okay.
So that's why this particular scenario have so many things. And really, if you try to complete it, 100% you'll learn so many things as well. And see, it has table. So first you get the table exercise. You get one notification right on the top where you need to disable it using
Yeah.
Chrome options or whatever options whatever browser you are using. Then you need to get this addition of all the rows, right? Same thing for columns. So this is really a good learning if you complete it.
Where is this
Okay.
assignment
That
posted?
one more thing. Yeah. Yeah. You please go ahead.
Where is this assignment posted? I have not seen it actually.
It's
I
LinkedIn.
posted on Facebook and LinkedIn, both places.
Okay, okay. I'll have a look.
Yes, just complete it because
Amod, one more thing.
yeah, please.
Yeah, WebDriver Manager, you taught us the WebDriver Manager. So the desired capability for Chrome, is there any change, or we can directly write Chrome driver dot desired capability? We can write that syntax and we can
Yes,
set the desired
yes.
capabilities.
See, WebDriver Manager just simply downloads and set the system property. That's all. Whatever you want to do, Chrome options or
Okay.
desired capability, you can do. WebDriver Manager is just only restricting to downloading this particular first line. That's all. Okay.
Thanks, Olin.
Yeah. So I think no more questions. Then I can wind up this session and more let it go because cash course means okay. Let's explore everything or how much we can learn. I will continue. So don't worry about those two things. Okay. Fine. So thank you
I just have
everyone.
one
We'll meet.
question. Sorry.
Yeah, please.
See, I just have one question. Where suppose for an extra of a locator, if we don't have an ID as an attribute, so what is the next attribute that we can depend on what we can use?
You're breaking actually. You're breaking actually.
Yeah, I don't have an ID attribute for my application. So what is the next attribute that
Okay.
I can rely on?
Generally people say that ID or name. So look for that. If not, then you can go for CSS or XPath. So again, there's one question like who is faster, like CSS or XPath. Actually, in real time, you will not find so much different. Both are same. And if you see the many internal methods of what you call that Selenium, so whatever ID you are passing, they will construct one XPath internally.
Correct.
I will show you somewhere. I will show somewhere like you're passing ID, but they are constructing a XPath with using that ID. So both are same. There's nothing like CSS will be run faster or XPath will make you slow. No, that is only the old things which people generally managers are following that part. Use XPath, use CSS, but in real time, it's not getting slower. Okay, so both are fine. Generally, I prefer XPath and CSS. Okay. If you have ID, well, good, you can use, but there's so many drag and drop development tools which will not give any ID for you. So it is like really terrible. Like, have you heard of Appian or Pega kind of things, or there's so many different drag and tools. They will not have any ID or name.
Correct.
Okay, fine. So, maybe next Saturday we'll meet again, and I will continue from there. Okay, fine. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.